For Scott to tell me I'm good.
Hurry.
Tell this.
I'm impressed.
Good.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the September meeting to order. We will begin with the invocation and pledge by Greg Pedersen.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather. We thank you for the freedom and the peace and the joy that we have here in our county. We ask that you would guide us in our decisions, that they would be pleasing to you in all that we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ray. All right, first item of business will be the approval of the August 18th minutes. They would have been in your email.
Make a motion to go ahead and approve those.
And Mark has moved. Do I have a second? Second. Marcus has seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. All right. We are doing a little flexing here with the agenda. Link.
Hello, I am here. Tell me if I'm speaking appropriately into the mic. To ask for the approval for our 8891 Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant. This is from the Indiana Department of Health each year to support preparedness planning, drills, acquiring supplies, and supporting staff pay. This was submitted during the budget period, but as this grant runs July 1st of this year to June 30th of next year, I was advised to present it during a regular meeting for approval as part of the grant process. So as far as the expenditures, it is a $20,000 grant. It is reimbursable to, as we spend, then they reimburse. 12,500 of that to the coordinator's position. So security, office supplies, pod supplies for our trailer, which unfortunately is damaged from the last windstorm that took out the county garage.
Oh.
And printing, advertising, meeting rooms and training, education for that position. We're looking for a data tablet for field work and input of data management. And the total of that is $20,000.
Any questions for Link? Right. Do I have a motion to? I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the public health preparedness grant allocation for 20,000 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Link.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Peter. We've got several things within the sheriff/jail. I'm assuming you're going through them all?
Yes.
Perfect. And we'll vote for each one individually.
Okay. Looks like the first one, asking for from a 4-week span this year, the FEMA money that we're supposed to be getting. We've gone through all the process. It's roughly, it is $26,931. I can't tell you when that's actually going to come, going to the general fund, or we're requesting it for overtime.
Okay.
Now, that's what we used during that time. So that's the first one.
Okay.
They are looking at additional, looks like 90,000 that should be coming just for use of equipment during that time span.
But it is coming. You're confident it's coming.
Pretty confident, yes. Now, I couldn't tell you when. I mean, it may be next month or it could be at the beginning of the year.
Okay. Now, if it hits the beginning of the year, he just needs to make sure he encumbers those funds, or how does that work?
I guess kind of asking for the appropriation now
Okay.
to do that. That way you don't have to come back and do it unless.
Beautiful. Because then when he gets it, it'll just hit general fund. Okay, perfect.
Motion for separate, motion for both, then.
It will automatically go to the general fund.
It will automatically.
Need to approve his appropriation.
This is clear as mud to everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Greg has moved. Mark has seconded to appropriate the $26,931 that will be coming from FEMA now so they can spend in your overtime. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, your jail lit 11.
So the next thing is, obviously, we talked about it before, but the utility line, we're gonna be short, so, we're estimating 125 should cover it. Of course, anything that doesn't, it's gonna go back, but.
Any questions here on his utility line?
It's unfortunate, but we knew it was coming. I'll make a motion to go ahead for 125,000.
Mark has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Michael has seconded. Any questions? All those in favor of moving 125,000 into the utilities fund signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, transfers.
And then the next three, I don't know if you want to do those separate, but they're all, the 20,000 come from safekeeper.
Yep.
Move that into overtime. 10,000 from courthouse OT to the sheriff's side OT. And then 10,000 from the uniform, sheriff's uniform to sheriff's OT.
We
Got it.
wrap that into one motion.
Wait, is safekeeper going to overtime or is it going to supplies?
It's going,
Says supply.
oh, I'm sorry, to jail operating supplies.
Okay,
Paul.
Those, can we do the 40,000 or do you want it separately?
I don't care. Do them all together.
okay.
I'll make a motion for the 40,000 for the transfer of funds from the jail to general fund overtime and the sheriff's supply. And a total amount of $40,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
Kim seconds. Any other questions about the transfers? All those in favor of moving 20,000 from safekeepers to jail operating supplies, 10,000 from courthouse overtime to sheriff overtime, and then 10,000 from sheriff other supplies to overtime signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
John, is that's an illegal activity by a command staff in your department?
Do what?
Illegal activity by letting a mother wanting her grandchild not eat cookies or sugar? Somebody get in trouble with that? You deny that?
Yeah, denied. I don't know what you're talking about.
I want to make sure we clarify. Inside joke, John's been given too much sugar to his grandkids, so.
I got scolded for it.
And he is not the last
No.
grandfather to do that, right, Mark?
No.
All right, with that, we're gonna move back to the presentation from Bridge to Dove, Mark Pikey.
Yeah, so my name is Mark Pikey, and I serve as president of the board for Bridge to Dove Recovery House for Women. And I'm here on behalf of our board, made up of Jane Keel, Matt Carruthers, Jean Donica, who's with me today, and Scott Schumacher, all of whom are Bartholomew County residents. Our purpose is to bring Dove Recovery House for Women to Bartholomew County to serve women whose lives have been negatively affected by substance use disorder. And to make that become a reality, we've committed to acquiring a piece of property on which to build a facility. Secondly, to construct a facility that will house a 15-bed inpatient substance use disorder treatment program and recovery residents. And thirdly, to have that facility paid for in full by the time Dove Recovery House begins operations. And so I'm here on behalf of our board today to make a request of $300,000 to the council. You received a pre-read from me earlier, and I don't know if you want to put those slides up, if those are available. If not, I can kind of talk through some things I wanted to share, but
I think she's working on
if we
it.
can put those up on the screen, that'd be great.
There you go.
Yeah, they're in your folder. It's titled B2D.
There you go.
There they go.
Okay, we'll go to the next one. So Dove Recovery House for Women is who we're bringing to town. And if the next slide, if you'll take a look at that, I just want to highlight a few things on the slide that follows. So Dove Recovery House has been doing this kind of work for over 25 years now. They serve women impacted by substance use disorder, and women are a grossly underserved population when it comes to this kind of care. Dove is a newly expanded 55-bed facility in Indianapolis, and they opened their first satellite location in Jasper, Indiana, Du Bois County 3 years ago. The next slide shows an image of our facility that's there. Our facility in Bartholomew County is located on Pavilion Drive, which is bordered by Marr Road on the east and Schneer Drive on the west, and immediately north of Centerstone Mental Health Center. This will be a 15-bed facility, 6,400 square feet. Construction began in June and is coming along very well. This will be a NAR, or National Association of Recovery Residents, level 4 facility, which is the highest ranking that there is in the United States. And it will be the only NAR level 4 facility in Bartholomew County. The next slide, just a few things to, actually I want to go over that very carefully with you, that you have. And so if you, I don't know if there, I can see that there better. Okay, I'll go to this microphone. So it says that program success rates provide cost savings potential for the county. And we really want to emphasize this. Cycle of addiction stops after 6 months. Over 75% of the women who go through this program are still clean and sober. The potential to the county for a reduced number of offenders. In 2024, there were 235 women arrested for substances or paraphernalia in Bartholomew County. And the potential for reduction in jail costs. The cost for 1 day in jail for one person is $78. This program reduces recidivism through its success rate. So if you were to multiply $78 times 365 days a year, and a success rate of 75%, and we have a 15-bed facility, you can do the math. I think there's a great return on investment there. The second column, Dove House is committed to our county. Long-term commitment. Dove House has committed to provide services locally for 20 years. They've been doing this work for over 25 years. They are not going to come in and leave in a couple of years. They've made a commitment to be here for at least 20 years to provide this service in Bartholomew County. And they were recognized last month as a nonprofit of the year by the Indianapolis Business Journal. So very high quality work. Program design will help housing issues and create economic dependence. Housing for those most in need. Dove House allows clients to stay up to 2 years rent-free. And so it's addressing the homeless issue. Most of the women who come to Dove are homeless when they come. Employment and savings are part of the program. All Doves, the women who are clients there, work while they're in residence and build a savings program before they leave the program. So they've had a great success rate. They're considered the gold standard in the state of Indiana when it comes to addiction treatment. Then if you'll take a look at the next slide, it lists those who have been supportive of our efforts so far. And I'll just call them out. So FSSA through the state, we've received $324,000 from the state of Indiana from opioid dollars. The United Way, I'll come back to that in a moment. We also received $300,000 of opioid dollars that came through the county a couple of years ago. The Reeves Foundation, $25,000. First National Bank, $10,000. The Custer Nugent Foundation, we've received $225,000 from them. St. Peter's Lutheran Church has given to us $150,000. Columbus Regional Health Foundation gave us $100,000 and $15,000 from Old National Bank. In addition to that, we've had over 150 families from our community who've been financially supportive of this effort. So you can see that we've had a great public-private partnership with this project, with local and state dollars that have come to us, not from tax dollars, but local and state dollars that have come through opioid dollars that have been distributed then through states and through counties, local foundations, a local church, and over 150 families. I also said I'd come back to the United Way on the list. We are in the final stages of securing a very significant grant through the United Way. If I was sitting here a week from now, I could give you the specifics and the exact dollar amount. But because we want to honor due process, I can't give you all the details about that. But it is a very significant grant. We've received verbal confirmation on that. We just haven't received that in writing, and there'll be something coming out very soon to announce that. So by way of our request, if you'll go to the next slide, our request, as you can see, we have been working very hard and very intentionally to find support from a variety of other sources in the community and beyond before coming to our local government. Our request for money is not to take money from the county's tax generated dollars, nor from dollars that have been generated within Bartholomew County, but from dollars that have come from other sources within the state to be distributed. We wanted to do everything we could to make this request our final request, having demonstrated that it has been our effort to go elsewhere to private entities as well as other public entities to find support for this project. So that's what I wanted to share with you, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Perfect.
Where does the operating budget come from after it's built?
The operating budget will come from Dove Recovery House. So our responsibility, get a piece of property which was donated to us. David and Cindy Force's name were up there as donors. They donated the property. Then to build a building and get paid for it in full. We will then have fulfilled our responsibility. And then Dove and their team then will be responsible for funding. Some of the treatment dollars come through some government programs. Lilly is a very significant funder on the residential side and others. But this is our only ask to you for this. So we will own the property for either 3 to 5 years because that was a part of donors' stipulations. But they will be responsible for running the program. I didn't add that $300,000 would close our gap. That would close it entirely. This is a $3.5 million project, and the $300,000 would bring that to completion. But Dove will be responsible for that.
Mark, I want to commend you. I mean, 2 years ago when you started this project, you've taken on a lot and you've done a lot to the community. And, you know, looking back at what's been said in our conversations, clearly the impact will happen in the future, what we see, especially in the jail. You can run the numbers, but $78 is awful cheap, what you're talking about, the actual cost over there. But I'm fully supportive of the additional 300 that you're requesting today to finish out the project. Because, you know, 2 years is a long time, but I know you lived and breathed this, and I commend you for it.
Thank you. It's been a lot of hard work, but we've had a great team.
So 2 things, from a prior conversation, remind me if I'm incorrect, but it also allows children to stay with their mothers or no?
No, there is a facility in town that does that, the Fresh Start program. I think they allow 2 children up to the age of 5 to stay with their moms. The difference is that's a 28 or 35-day program, I believe, and then a woman is gone. In our case, a woman can stay up to 2 years to work on her recovery, which is a huge factor, I think, in the success rate. I think the average stay is about 8 months, but she can stay up to 2 years. There are visitation privileges for children, but typically what Dove has found in the work in Indianapolis is, in most cases, children have already been removed from the home. And if not, then they find a relative who will care for the children while mom's in treatment.
And then my second, and we don't have someone from the courts here, but do we know if this will qualify these women to be part of drug court that could get any charges?
I don't want to speak on behalf of Judge Benjamin. I know that Wendy Knows, the executive director of Dove, has been to Columbus, and I've introduced her to our 3 judges. They've had a brief conversation. She also made a presentation to community corrections folks and was very well received there. One of the things we'll want to do is have her sit down with Judge Benjamin and have those kinds of conversations.
Thank you.
And I should say that in our agreement, Bartholomew County women will be the first ones served. So in other words, we won't have Bartholomew County women waiting because we're having people from other counties. Our first clients to be served will be women from Bartholomew County.
That was going to be my question on residency. Any other questions?
So I appreciate the mission and everything you're doing. I think it's a very worthy objective. So you mentioned this other organization that also does something similar, but it's a short-term type program, right? Like a month or less.
Fresh Start.
The Fresh Start program, to where yours is saying it could be up to 2 years. The average is about 8 months, right? So that if I kind of do the math in my head, 15 people, 8 months, you're doing maybe 20, 25 fortunate individuals a year. Is that about right?
Yeah, the first year will start slower because it's kind of like a graduated system. So you start with 3 or 4 women, and after a couple of months, you bring on board a few more. I'd say on average, probably 15 to 20 women per year.
And it looks like you've got a really strong list of donors.
We do,
Very fortunate there.
yes.
Are there any other opportunities you think that maybe you could inquire about?
Well, we feel like we've pretty much wrung the chains as hard as we can. We do have money that will be coming through the city. We met, another board member and I met with the mayor and Eric Fry in the spring to ask about city involvement and participation. And so they have committed community development block grant monies for that. About a third of what they received to distribute will be coming to us. So we really wanted our last asks, if you will, to be here and with the city, because we wanted to demonstrate that we wanted to do everything we could before we came in this direction. So I'm not saying that there aren't others out there, but we've worked really, really hard over the last couple of years to get to where we are.
And has the county participated in this before?
The county was granted, and correct me, Mark or Leah, if I'm wrong, but the county receives opioid dollars that come down from all the settlements that the county is then to distribute for causes like this. And a couple of years ago, the county distributed a certain amount of money, of which we were recipients of $300,000 of that. So it was the county's to distribute. I don't know how you define it. It was the county's money, but it was the county's to
It was
distribute.
passed through?
It was the pass-through.
money, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, through ASAP.
Correct.
And do we have any of those funds remaining, or was that all?
We do, and Sherry Jewett has come before you and made a request during budget time for another allocation. What we did in this particular case, in this situation that you're discussing today, is we advertise this as riverboat money. So another allocation of funds that we get from sources that it's at your discretion where those monies are used.
Then on the funding cycle, it goes before the funding board, and some of the opiate settlement monies are decided before budget during that process. And this was one of these like kind of one-off type things that we do during the cycle. But the best way to explain it, how we do it through the year.
Yeah, a lot of the opioid settlement monies go towards operating expenses now.
So,
There's additional opiate settlement monies coming in, but that's after it goes through the funding board and the presentations are presented to the stakeholders, and then that group presents it to the funding board, what best suits our community and needs at that time. And that was part of one of the original ones 2 years ago.
Right.
Thinking, might even get longer than that.
Major Martusha, if we had a woman or male, I guess, in jail for 8 months, do you know about how much of taxpayer dollars that would cost the county?
No, I think they come up with like $78, $79 what it costs a day
A day?
for an
$78
individual.
at 15 people, 365 days, it's $427,000. I was looking at, he was talking that, I know it costs more
So,
than that.
yeah,
Literally, in other items, they say that number, but I know it's higher.
but you're saying for 4
That's,
women?
that's for the whole year.
That's for
15
15 women, for
15 women.
365 days. That's what it costs us roughly,
And the dividends, this will pay us back in the long
Because
run.
this is a one-time,
one
whereas,
time.
whereas if we were keeping people in the jail, it would be year after year after year.
Dove has committed to be here for 20 years. I suspect they'll be here longer.
could be a cost savings to the county.
And
Yeah.
how many staff members is this gonna? Do you have an idea there?
I'm not gonna give a specific because I'm not the executive director of Dove, and I don't want to speak on their behalf. I know that, they have somebody there 24/7 just to be there, but they have caseworkers, they have other therapists who work with them, they work with medical, with doctors, who are on a contract with them, so there's a number of people who are part of that team.
Yeah, and has that already been investigated to make sure that doesn't sound like it's been investigated locally to make sure that there's gonna be sufficient staffing, but you don't anticipate any problems with that?
No.
You know, if there's not more questions, if, I know Pia reached it with the riverboat, additional appropriation that was on the agenda here. Yeah, I'm in favor of consensus is, what is the will of council? If it is, I'd be in a position to make a motion for the riverboat funding for the one-time expenditure, because non-taxpayer money, and basically will fulfill their obligation and up and running virtually.
Yes.
And I think they've committed 2 years ago, saying going out in the public sector and getting funding and coming back and capping it off. I think it's a win-win partnership between them and us and the county.
And during budget, we talked about the riverboat having about $1 million balance. Is that correct?
And we just got a 160 kicker.
That's correct.
There was another 160. Oh, that's right. You sent an email.
So we got 1.2-ish.
I'll make a motion to go ahead for additional appropriation for $300,000 out of riverboat money to finish the Dove project.
Second.
Presented.
Marcus seconded it. Any other discussion? Any questions from the public? Because I know this is a major. All right, not seeing any. I will bring the motion to a vote. All those in favor of contributing 300,000 from the Riverboat Fund to the Bridge to Dove House signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you so much. We are grateful for your support. Probably within the next week or two, we'll have a press release about all of this. And thanks for being a part of the team. I think we'll see great results, and we'll continue to do our thing. So
Thank you for all the work you do for the community.
Yes.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Enjoy retirement.
Keeps me out of trouble. I do have another commitment because I have a NAMI walk on Sunday that we get to organize. So
Very
thank
good.
you, everyone.
Thank you.
Whose watch is that?
Mark.
Mark, is that your watch?
Thank you.
And is that your?
Yes.
Is that his watch? Oh, all right. On to budget review. Oh, yeah, before we get to budget review, we're gonna slide our local commissioner in to talk about county office
All
hours.
right.
Good afternoon, council. I'm here to give you an update on some changes in our personnel policy and our hours of operation. So it was brought to our attention late last year that we are one of 2 counties still in the state of Indiana that their public buildings are open until 5 p.m. I don't know who the other one is, but they're not close by. And it was brought to our attention by the judges in the courts that they wanted to go from 8 to 5 with an hour unpaid lunch to 8 to 4 with a 20-minute meal break. We at that time approached the idea of doing that countywide with all of our county buildings. We stopped that because we wanted to have council's input and council's quote unquote blessing on the project, even though it's a commissioner's line of work. You guys deal with salaries and jobs and things like that. And so we didn't want to do it without your support. So at that point, the courts decided to go ahead and do that, and they started going to 8 to 4 back in March, I believe. At which point, we all decided that we would approach this subject again at budget time. We did. And in talking with you all, we made it clear that we want to continue to go down this road, and we seem to have reached consensus with everyone. So we wanted to come today to let you know that we will have the first reading of the ordinance on Monday, week from today, to change our personnel policy with regard to that. The two things that are changing are hours worked and meal break personnel policy. So it doesn't require an ordinance to close the buildings at 4 p.m., but it does require an ordinance to change these things. And what's going to happen now is, like I said, all of our offices, except for the 24/7 operations, such as the sheriff's department, the buildings will be open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And those employees will no longer have a 1 hour unpaid lunch break, but they will have a 20-minute paid meal break sometime during the day. So we just wanted to make all of you aware of that'll be on our agenda for Monday.
Two things then, I think you didn't mention that, we had a meeting this morning, effective October 1st.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is gonna be effective October 1st of this year.
And I assume the commissioners will, department heads and then the media or the IT to let people know what operational hours are then.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we checked with well, there's our treasurer right there. We checked with all of our department heads and asked if there are any sort of conflicts. There don't seem to be any.
Okay.
The vast majority of them say very little activity happens after 4 p.m. And we were very concerned about being able to collect taxes in the fall because, that's the lifeblood, right? But we were told
Barb
that,
will be waiting out there for their.
well, we were told that there are very few in the fall that do that. The most people pay both installments in the spring, or they mail them in or take them to the bank or whatever. So, yes, October 1st of 2025, our buildings will start going from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. But all departments are expected and required to still get all their work done.
Yeah.
And all their hours appropriately accounted for. No one's getting any breaks here. I mean, they still got to put in their hours.
Perfect. And then I'm assuming for some of those departments, Scott, like thinking assessors,
After hours.
environmental health, maybe a little bit of the nursing health, like they have ability to get their cards to have access once the doors are locked if they're going to be out conducting business and inspections.
That's right. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's not that there won't be anybody working, it's just that they won't be open to the public.
Totally.
So people will still have access. We have some people come to work at 7 in the morning. We have some people come to work at 9 in the morning. If they're elected, they're usually a little later than that. Did I say that out loud? But anyway, so that's the bottom line on that, and we just wanted to make the council aware.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Any questions for Tony?
No.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Oh.
All right, now for the budgets. Lisa.
Hi.
There you are. Online, wasn't even looking there. We'll let you go first.
Okay. So I have to bring my budget as normal, like the last several years, because I only have 2 board members and one of them happens to be a firefighter. So again, I have to get your all's blessing on my budget, but I do still take it before the board and make sure that they are in favor of it as well. And we are meeting like later, tonight. So anyway, so you guys get the first look instead of them, but I'm sure they'll be fine. The only difference from last year is I've increased a few things due to the economy increase. So I think my budget's like $1,800 higher than the previous year. So, with my, general fund with a budget of 29,150, township assistance, 10,500, township fire EMS, 40,000.
Can you
Yeah.
wait second? Hey.
Yeah.
Here, Daleen, what's this called in our folder? Just so we can.
have a copy of it.
Oh, we don't have a copy of it? Okay. I was like,
Cause
I was like,
I wasn't finding it, so.
yeah, I could see us all looking for it. Keep going, Lisa.
Oh, okay.
But
So, and then my cum fund is 40,000 as well budget.
Start over, because we were all looking for your budget in our files, so start over.
Okay, we'll start over. So, my budget from last year to this year is just an increase of $1,800, 1,825, I think exactly. And then, so my general township budget, and I did go meet with my state board of accounts or DLGF, I mean, and did my budget meeting with them, and everything was good. Everything comes in just like normal. She and I always have a quick meeting, but my general total is 29,150. So that's salaries and insurance and utilities and dues and things like that. Cemetery care. My township assistance is at 10,500. My township fire and EMS totals 40,000, and my cumulative fund is also 40,000. So, so that's a grand total of $119,650.
Okay, perfect. Any questions for Lisa? I'm sort of looking at you, Marcus, my resident township expert.
It sounds all good. So your fire cum fund, do you normally spend out of it each year, or is that just so that in case you need to?
I do spend the 40,000 out of fire and EMS, to the department. So it spends every year. And then, the cum fund, we're accumulating, hopefully buy a truck, maybe in the next year. I don't know. Hopefully, who knows? We've been working over the last year, trying to figure out something for them, trying to find the right thing.
Sure.
So that's where we go. That's where we're at with that.
All looked reasonable to me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Lisa.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, go ahead. We don't vote yet. All right, so then we'll move to the first reading of solid waste with Heather. And let us find your budget.
Yeah, good evening. I set a copy as well in front of you if you can't find it electronically.
Thank you.
Yes. So I'll quickly go through our 2026 budget. We have no cell construction, no cell closure in our 2026 budget. So that is kind of good news. In the ones, the only change from the budget hearing was changing that salary resolution to the 3%. So that is included in what you have. And that's a total of $1,393,280. The twos part of the budget remains at the 115,800. The threes part of the budget is 2,859,306. The fours, with a few small capital projects, is 991,575, bringing our overall budget to 5,359,961. And that is a little lower than our last year's budget of 5.4 million. So that is good news. We are making no changes to the tax rate for this budget year. We will be increasing our gate rate to 39 in January of 2026 to keep up with some of the revenue losses from SB1, which are relatively small in 2026. So that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me.
And because of the recycling program, you're going down to in head count.
Yes. So because our board has decided to stop our commercial cardboard program, which was effective Friday, we do have, 2 less employees in the 2026 budget because of that change.
And will you absorb that through attrition, or will you have to lay some folks off?
We have already laid 2 off, but they were offered jobs in the private industry with our community partner in Rumpke. So
Perfect.
that's at least some good news.
That is good news. Nice little silver lining there. Any other questions for Heather? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, PL,
All right,
your turn.
so we can do this a couple of different ways. One, I can submit this in the record as is and give you the totals. Or I can read them line by line.
Got the document and the total and submit the document.
And is your what's the title of your document in our folder? Summary workbook 8/20/25?
In your folder, it's under this meeting,
Okay,
and it's the cumulative budget, and it's the third tab, it says first reading.
okay.
Which starts with the clerk's budget of $533,245. And so total county general is $38,857,271.
Mm-hmm.
The other funds total $31,258,311 for a total 2026 budget of all funds, $70,115,582.
Okay. Any questions for Pia? Or other information you guys would like clarifications on?
Other than, I assume many department heads sent you the corrections or anything, the numbers, if we didn't have something right during the budget process.
We've been alerted from the, I believe it was Superior Court 2, that their budget needs to be $6 higher than what is on this sheet.
So
We
we
will
made
make
that
that change for the second reading.
perfect. Tony left now. Did we get updated insurance numbers to make sure we're covering cyber, or do they think that number will still be large enough to cover the cyber cost? Do you know?
I have not heard.
Okay. Because that was one thing.
They were, it was my understanding the last time that I heard was that they think that it can be absorbed with their other budgeted line items.
Okay.
And if not, they can come before you for an additional appropriation when they have that fully understood.
Agree. Okay. Any other questions for Pia? Question, the
I live on the
audience.
north side of Columbus.
Can you come speak into the
Oh,
microphone,
sure.
Cole? Thank you. For the good of the Zoom. And give your name
Yeah, sure.
and we need his address on the record. His name. Name, just give us.
My
your
name's Colvin and I live on the north side of Columbus. So this is, you said for the total funds for 2026 was $70 million. How does that compare to 2025?
2025.
That our
Budget.
Yeah,
Yes,
So it's slightly higher,
okay. Was there any decision made on a wheel tax in this budget process?
not at this
yet?
time.
Okay. And were taxes increased, local income taxes for this budget?
Local income taxes
no.
were not increased. The percentage stays the same as what it was before. The property tax levy increased by 4%. And this budget on the expenses includes a 3% increase for salaries, for wages.
No further questions. Thank you.
Cool.
Do we have the date for the second reading? That on our-
We do, it'll be your October regularly scheduled meeting.
Like
And then you
October
have a
15th
work session scheduled for the first
6th.
Monday in October. I believe that's the 5th.
Or
Sixth.
Sixth.
That's the
Because I-
6th.
Yep. In Cole,
yes.
as you asked about wheel tax, we did not pass that we would have had to do that, correct me if I'm wrong, someone, by September 1st to implement it in 2026. So even if we do pass it anytime now between next September, the state cannot implement that for us until 2027 now, if we decide to do that, just,
Thank you.
yep. All right, any other questions from the audience? Right, then we just submit that document into the minutes. Any other business around budget before we go to miscellaneous? All right, any board updates? Any other miscellaneous updates for the good of the cause?
Other than, meeting on the sixth,
Yes,
is there anything else on the sixth we're gonna discuss or just?
no, that will be deep enough, based on what Greg and I have already seen in a pre-read with Reedy. It's a lot, guys. It's gonna be, it's a lot, yeah, something like that.
A comprehensive review of our options.
Yeah,
How
and
about that?
they do a nice job of showing not just how it impacts us, but remember, SB1 changes how small towns under 3,500, townships, everything, because they're losing their property tax shares in SB1. So it's giving us all of that data too, because we now get to be the deciders of that starting in 2028 fiscal year.
And probably, preliminary, what I'm understanding is our workload that we previously had the pleasure of not having a small workload, it's gonna be a very, very long process, an educational process for us, and we will walk away with our minds probably blown
Yeah,
and still have a lot of questions, probably over the next year or so, all the moving parts and how we affect how we operate county government.
yeah, and the shift away from funding so much stuff with property tax, while it feels good on the surface, it's just moving to the lit, and it's putting more onerous on us as locals on how are we gonna pay for this, but we have to be in lockstep.
The commissioners and
Well, it's commissioners, it's the library district, it's fire districts, townships, volunteer fire departments, municipalities. They all are losing their shares. The commissioners, when it comes to all of their road funding. So,
It's getting shoved in our laps.
yeah,
All of
and
it.
all of it, and we all have to vote on our lit rate every single year. It's not like we leave it by statute. We have to vote on it every year. So reading.
we'll probably have several work sessions over the next.
Yeah,
year.
but this is the first glimpse because the wheel tax question keeps coming up, but this helps us understand what does our funding look like and what are the best mechanisms to fund in the least painful way possible.
And the impact, not only what the city will be doing something separate potentially too, and how that impacts
Totally,
all our funding.
absolutely.
And again, Reedy was impressed with how in really great shape we are as a county.
Mhm.
And we intend to keep it that way, but we gotta be smart.
Yes, looking ahead.
Yeah, because they really forecast our decrease in our property taxes and what our lit could do. And there's a time period there where it doesn't match. And then from a standpoint of when they're looking at other counties, a lot of them, the lit doesn't make them whole. We're fortunate that a lit can make us whole. Because there's a lot of communities and counties where the lit is, the population base isn't there.
And not only, I just learned this morning and I don't want to panic anybody, but you mentioned something when we were talking about schools and
Right.
how it impacts some of this is going to
Yeah.
affect those and their funding mechanisms.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of moving parts and it's going to take time and we're not going to know all the answers at first.
Yeah.
Unless you like reading and spend day in, day out doing it and
no, so just, if there's any pre-reads we get before, then I'll get them to you, but just know on the 6th, it's gonna be, you're gonna leave with more questions, like I got off the call with more questions than answers, so this is gonna be an ongoing thing. That's why I wanted to move sort of quickly to get this in front of us now, so that way we're prepared on how we wanna do budgeting next year, year after.
But I mean, for me, I just got to a point where like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Yes, yes,
And
And you guys have been working on it a couple months now already.
Yes.
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And are we doing this alone, or is the city participating in any of this?
I think that they are trying to figure some of this out on their own. This one is like for us just to review. But our next thing is not just the city, because the city gets to vote on their own. Our next is gonna have to be meeting with Hope, Clifford, E-Town, Hartsville, because they don't get a vote. We have to do their vote. So we really have to get intimate with what their
Process.
budgets need to be. The city basically can move without us with what their portion is. I think they can, 1.2 is what they can add to the lit. So we plan on definitely having those conversations and what most likely in my mind needs to happen, and Reedy advised this too, is we probably need to have a county council finance committee where three of us can move and have these conversations without having to schedule meetings and have 10 days notice with open door law. So that finance committee, so be thinking about that. Who are the three people we want to serve on that finance committee, so we can sit down with the mayor, the chairman of the city council, and, you know, their controller, because what they do will impact,
Everyone,
yeah, that lives inside the city.
but they're doing the evaluation themselves. They're not
They're
trying to
not.
have a
Mm-mm.
third-party expert.
No, but we
Okay.
did include Columbus in ours because it was part of the municipal, so they can see what Reedy can see.
Okay,
So there is benefit to them that we are more than willing to share with them.
great.
And the city of Columbus doesn't have, they're able to bounce back too, in a healthy way where it's not gonna be as detrimental as some other communities we've heard about.
And the term "make them whole" was used repeatedly. And
Yep.
so we asked, okay, what does that mean? Well, basically, it's the money that they're getting right now in shares, we're going to have to replace. So we're going to become intimately familiar with each of these towns' finances.
And I think your terminology said making whole is been a theme I've been hearing from you guys in several conversations, and it goes back, and I use a different kind of terminology, is we're at a level now that we don't increase taxes to accommodate things. We've got to find out what our neutral ground is first, bring it
Yep.
back to whole, everybody.
Yeah.
And then assess needs thereafter individually.
Yep.
In future budgets. So.
Absolutely. Any other questions, updates?
If there's nothing, I would like to make a motion to close this